because it's Thursday.
I know you guys are tired of Batman and Harley Quinn videos, but it's the biggest thing we've gotten in the DCAU since the end of Justice League Unlimited, so we wanted to analyze it as much as possible. And during that analyzing, I'm sure we've all noticed a couple things here or there that kind of make us question its validity in the DCAU. So let's talk about that. And I know the biggest thing that you guys are all probably wondering is, why does Harley have two butts? She's only had one the entire DCAU. So obviously this movie was put together in a more relaxed manner when returning to the DCAU style. As Bruce Timm said, he didn't really go over every episode to make sure that he wasn't contradicting something. So it's amazing that it's not as bad as it could be. Nonetheless, there are tons of things that kind of sour the experience. But let me take a shot at trying to explain them. In the Henchman Bar, Rhonda, Dwayne, and Captain Clown are both seen dancing with each other. Both were destroyed in Batman the Animated Series. Now obviously robots can be rebuilt, and that's probably what happened in this situation. But let me pitch another idea. In his Silicon Soul, we're told that Rhonda Dwayne was a duplicate. With all the other duplicates, they all have an original that they were duplicating. So perhaps this is Rhonda's duplicate? Of course, Captain Clown would still have to be rebuilt. Or if Rhonda was rebuilt, it could strengthen the fan theory that the robots we see in the Batcave during the Batman Beyond 2014 short are connected to Hardak. Now, there were also some characters that seemed kind of out of place throughout the film. We see Hal Jordan art in the back of Super Babes, and then we also see a waitress dressed up as Power Girl by name in the menu items. This could easily be explained away by the fact that there are so many heroes in the DCAU that we've heard exist but have never seen, or prior to when we see them. For instance, Vigilante was fighting against the Thanagarians during the events of Starcross, but we don't know anything about that until we see him in Hunter's Moon. Or we're told that Plastic Man exists during The Greatest Story Never Told, or in Static Shock, we're also told that Milestone Comics character Hardware exists. So just because we haven't seen a character before doesn't mean they aren't there. Sure, Power Girl had a replacement in the DCAU in Galatea, and Hal Jordan had references in the DCAU that kind of made you think that maybe he didn't become a Green Lantern. But what's there is there. Starfire's inclusion in the Super Babe scene was kind of weird as well. Seeing as we now know that the movie takes place in 2003, all indicators in Static Shock, the series takes place in the early 2000s, there's not a lot of wiggle room for her age when the Teen Titans are referenced. But perhaps she was an older member, 20 by now, and it's not creepy to sexualize her, or maybe it is creepy to sexualize her. Maybe it's just creepy to sexualize people. Maybe Super Babes itself is creepy. If you work at a place that has to have a sign up that says don't grab butts, so long as she's 18 by this time, it's fine. It's creepy, it's fine. We also have reference in the movie that there's a christening at Aquaman's, and that's kind of weird placement for the movie being in 2003. Aquaman's kid would be a couple years old by now, and it still seems a bit too early for Aqua Girl to be born. Maybe he has a third kid. Another thing that I'm sure has been pointed out is the fact that the Batmobile, the Batwing, and Batman's suit are all wrong for the time period, and that's fine. Static Shock did the same thing, and in Batman Beyond we see these models in the Batcave, so that's not really a continuity error. However, the Bat suit is kind of weird for the time period, but I feel like that's more character model than anything else. Once again, Static Shock switches back between the Justice League Batsuit, the new Batman Adventures Batsuit. It's nothing. It's no big deal. Stop being mad. Another thing that doesn't make much sense is Nightwing has his hair cut here, but later on in Grudge Match, he has the mullet again. It's just hair. You can just grow it. While placed in between the seasons of Justice League Unlimited, it's also kind of weird that Booster Gold is on monitor duty, but neither John nor Mr. Terrific could do monitor duty 24/7, so we also hear in Return of the Joker that Batman never fought dirty, but in the bar scene we see a big ol' Adam West, ow, my balls. That's weird to say on camera. Joker wasn't there, so how would he know? And it could have been Nightwing. The one that annoys me the most, though, is when we're told that Harley's been waiting to get Bobby Leibowitz for 10 years in connection to her senior prom. So if the movie happens in 2003, like we've established, her senior prom would be in 1993, which doesn't make much sense because fitting the new Batman Adventures into the latter half of 1999 and the earlier half of 2000, there's a reference in Beware the Creeper saying that Joker has been around for only 7 years, meaning that the earliest he could have been around is 1992 or 1993. And in Paul Dini's Harley Loves Joker, Joker was alone for years. So the earliest she could have been around is 1994 or 1995. But then she would have been graduating high school in 1993. Then she would have needed all the college work to become a certified doctor for Arkham as seen in Mad Love. Oof. Oh, they goofed. There's a couple ways to look at it. Maybe 10 years ago is the last time she's seen Bobby Leibowitz. Maybe she saw him since the prom and hasn't seen him in the 10 years since. Or maybe it's just a round figure, like in On Leather Wings, when Batman says, "Oh, this stuff's been going on for a week." But we see on the computer screen 2 weeks worth of dates. Maybe Bruce Timm is right, and maybe everything happens in Peanuts time, and I don't want to believe that. I don't know. I'm frustrated by this one. Now, I could go on and talk about all the continuity errors between this movie and previous DCAU tie-in comics, or this movie's tie-in comics and DCAU at large, or the tie-in comics and itself. But I feel like you guys have had your fill of Batman and Harley Quinn. If you want to talk about those, leave a comment and maybe we'll do it in a future video. If you noticed any continuity errors that I didn't mention today, leave comments with those as well, and I can try to explain them. I'm Mattie Washburn. You've been watching Vanishing Point. I'll see you in 2 weeks.